Good morning, mindful entrepreneurs. Happy Monday. Happy spring. It feels like a whole new beginning. Mondays are the best, aren't they? Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the second law and how you get rid of those old bad habits. And James Clear gives a few ways of actually taking that old habit, recognizing that it's not doing for you what it's designed to do, and thus seeing the negative of what it's doing for you and seeing a better way to do the thing that old bad habit did for you. A lot of what we do in NLP and hypnosis actually is underneath of a bad habit is actually a good intention. The challenge is you designed the bad habit mindlessly, first of all. It was something that scratched an itch at the time. And when our brain sees something and say, okay, this is true, then it sets a rule and says, okay, I've got a rule for that now. When I'm a little excited and overwhelmed by work, go distract myself for an hour so that I can calm down. First of all, if you need to calm down, there are better ways to do that you could do in 5 minutes. And second of all, you probably just need to dial the excitement down a little, right? Excitement is on a continuum that goes all the way up to anxiety and panic. And when you dial it down to a level that is motivating, it's really just imagining you've got dials. Think about the excitement, dial it up, dial it down. So there are better ways to do it. Mindfulness allows you to actually map out how do you do the habit. So I suggest a simple flowchart. The cue is the first thing. What you tell yourself, what you believe about the habit is the second thing. But also, then when you've written out that, first I see this, then I think this, then I do this, and it relieves the challenge or creates the result I want, really unpack each of those frames. How do you really know it's time to do that bad habit? Where are you? What's happening? Got my email open in the background. Left it on last night, dinged all night long. Usually I have it shut down, but well, there's something to think about, isn't it? Okay, so the trigger happens. When you know it's time that you're going to do that, do you have a picture? Right? Because our mind stores all of our information in little video clips, some of them with noise, some of them with smell and taste. When you know that's going to happen, do you have a picture? Next, what do you tell yourself? Oh, I can't handle this. I'm too excited. I'm too uh, ramped up. I'm too anxious. Have you heard anybody tell you in your past? Who was that first person? Was it your grade 2 teacher who said, you need to calm down and get to work? Sound familiar? Did that just vibe with you? You need to calm down and get to work. Oh, I'm not calm. I can't work is the rule that is the opposite. Test that rule. Is that even true? See, we also, although our brains are a little lazy, they get into that track and they keep things going. They also, when they find a lie and uncover that lie, it's like, bam, paradigm shift. We hate lies. Remember how angry you were when you found out there was no Santa Claus? Not just because there was no Santa Claus, but because someone lied to you. Uncover the lie of that second statement, the thing you tell yourself that the habit will do for you. Whose voice did you hear telling you that the first time? I'm sure they came from a place of good intention, or else you wouldn't have installed it as a habit. It would not have stuck as better. As better? Good morning. It would not have stuck as well. It would have been very light. So then you can say, what do I want to tell myself instead? So here we are actually getting into some belief work. So up at the top, the highest order change is that identity work. Identities are made up of our beliefs. So is it true that you need to settle down to get to work? Now, this is just an example. You're going to map out all of your bad habits and what you tell yourself to make it seem like it's a good behavior to reach the result you want. And since we know it's not, what do you want to tell yourself instead? Well, you want to tell yourself the truth. see the lie. Thank you, unconscious mind, for revealing the lie that tells me that this cue means I need to do this behavior to get whatever relief. The truth is, and then write out a bunch of versions of the truth until you find one where you go, that's it. Forgive yourself for believing the old lie. Goodness knows you were, grade seven, 7 years old in grade two, if that was when it was installed. Of course you believed that teacher you loved, that teacher that obviously knew better than you. Well, you're not in grade two anymore. So what is the truth about getting to work now? I love Brian Tracy's. He says, when it's time to go back to work, just say it out loud. Back to work. That's it. No, am I in the right mood? Am I motivated? Am I energized? Am I too energized? Am I too anxious? Could I put it off? Do I want to do it? None of that. When I see that lunch is over and I've got this exciting project to do, back to work. Interesting, isn't it? The other thing, though, is to, as you map out that old habit, really understand what it used to do for you. If it used to do something important, then how can you get that result in a better way? What's a good habit you can install to get that old result? It is impossible to get rid of a bad habit that's doing something good for you without replacing it. It's one of the reasons why when people quit smoking, they replace that oral fixation, if that's what it is, right? They need something in their mouth. They need chewing gum, or they need to nibble on a pencil or something to replace that old habit as they break it. Maybe not forever, maybe just for a couple of weeks. And they can get rid of that simpler, lighter habit in the future when you know the first bad habit's gone. It really is just math, working with how your brain works and not letting you trick yourself, and writing out the equation. When this happens, I tell myself this, then I feel this way, and so I do this thing. There's a great pattern in NLP called the swish pattern that if you want a copy of it, just let me know, post in the comments or send me a message. You can do it yourself. It's better if you do it with a partner, so you can actually teach a partner how to do it. I've got it as an MP3 and I've got it as a little worksheet of how do you replace an old habit or an old behavior with a new one using NLP, changing that response to the cue, right? The cue's there. You can't get rid of the cue. It surrounds you. There are ways to get rid of it by, if it's eating chips, we'll get rid of the chips. But if it's distract myself or go have a cigarette and you're struggling with it, there are some very interesting ways to just tap into what your unconscious mind is doing and physically write out the change you want to see, thereby installing it at the unconscious level. Let me know if you'd like a copy of that. It's called Swish. All right. See you tomorrow when we get on to the third magical law of behavior change. We'll get that in, and then we will do 3 days on that, and then we'll do the fourth law. Next week, we'll get into a couple of days of just advanced work. So if there's anything, hey, by the way, if you'd like to do 15 minutes with me on Zoom with any of this, let me know, or pop over to my office hours open on Zoom at 9.